Hello everybody, welcome back to another Expeditions Guide. Today we're going to be rounding up all the upgrades in the Mountain Labyrinths. So for this we're going to be using 3 trucks. I got the Lodestar and the Con Marshal here, and I have the 072 over at the other outpost. So real quick, let me just show you where we're going to be going. So with the Lodestar, we're going to be heading down to this upgrade down here. This is the Emergency Reserve L. I'll talk more about that when we get underway. Second upgrade, we're going to be using the Con Marshal to go along the river to head over here. And finally, we're going to use the Zero and go on a very long journey. The first upgrade we're going to be grabbing with the Zero is over here by the gateway. The second one is up on top of this mountain. The third one is along this ridge. And our fourth and final upgrade is over here that we're going to grab in with the Zero. So that is roughly where we're going to be going. Let me show you how to get there. So starting from the east outpost, we're going to use the Lodestar here. And we're going to go ahead and make our way south to start. And we're going to make our way through the woods. And like I mentioned, this first upgrade we're heading to is the Emergency Reserve L. And this is for the Steppe, the Bandit, and the A&K Civilian. The Emergency Reserve L is probably one of the most important upgrades you can get for a truck. Because that is all kinds of extra bonus supplies that do not take up an inventory slot or require a roof rack or side rack. So we're going to go ahead and just climb up onto this ridge here. And we're going to make our way down over this way. And right over here, we're going to squeeze right in between this tree and this rock here. It's going to get us all the way down here. And from here, we're going to go right in between these rocks. Just like that. We're going to go over these rocks here. These are going to get us all the way down to the bottom here. So we're going to climb over this rock. And from here, we're just going to follow the shoreline. Nice and easy. You don't want to get too far into the river. It is a very steep river banking. So if you actually get into the water there, there's a good chance it's going to flip your truck over. So we're just going to go ahead and follow the river bank here. And we are going to be coming across a couple of bridges like this one here. So I will point those out when we get there. Each bridge and crossing that we're going to be going through is 75 spare parts. We're not going through any mega or double bridges or anything like that. So like I said, this bridge right here, 75 spare parts. We're just going to cruise right across it here. Once we get to the other side, we're going to head to the right. And then from here, we're going to make our way up this very steep climb here. Alright, once we get to the top, we're going to make our way to the left and kind of head through the woods here. Going to knock over a bunch of shrubbery on the way over. What the heck was that? It just nuked my truck. Hold on, I got a flat tire. Alright, there we go. We're alright. I've seen some of those phantom bumps before, but that is the worst one I've ever seen. That just completely demolished the truck. That's weird. Anyway, so once we get to this mountainside lake here, we're going to just go to the left here and just stay along these rocks. Now, this is one of the muddier parts of the Mountain Labyrinths map, so you do want to be very careful here. Use some low gear. It is going to be a slow-going climb, and we can just drive right over this big tree branch here. It's not a problem at all for the Lodestar. So once we get through here, we're going to head down just a little bit and then swing to the left here, get up to the forest, and we're going to drive through the back side of the forest here. And once we make it over here, we're going to go up the rocks on the right side here. It's going to be right here. We're going to climb right up. Pull myself over a little bit. There we go. Better angle. And we're just going to stay right along this ridge line, and here you're going to find a little dip down. Now, we want to stay to the left side here. You don't want to get too far. In fact, you can use this stump as a marker. You want to stay to the left side of the stump. And then we're going to go ahead and make our way up this hill here. Right through the trees, and there will be your first upgrade. Like I said, this is the Emergency Reserve L for the Steppe, the A&K Civilian, and the KRS Bandit. Alrighty, moving on, we're going to go ahead and swap to the Con Marshal. So the next upgrade we're heading to go get is an engine, an upgraded engine for the Tatra Force and the A&K Civilian. This is the A12V 850 TTA engine. So we're going to go get that engine. A bigger engine for some of those trucks. So, leaving the outpost, we're going to kind of head north and over to the shoreline. And yeah, I know I have metal detectors on both of these trucks. You really don't need the metal detectors. I forgot to swap those over. Not like we're not going very far, so it's not like we need extra supplies. But just in case you were wondering why I have metal detectors on these two trucks, you really don't need them. Just grabbing these trucks, they're very capable of doing the tasks we are embarking on, and they're not going far enough where we really are in need of the extra supplies from the roof racks at the moment. So yeah, so we're basically just going to follow this river shore. And once we get over to this little island here, this is where we are going to bounce across. And all the way down. We're trying to avoid this rock here. We can just climb right over it. There we go. And yeah, we're just going to climb up and over this little island, and we're going to aim for this little shallow spot here to cross on over to the other side here. Now, once we get to the top of the hill here, we're going to head to the left, kind of go through this clearing a little bit. And then we're going to go through this little trail through the back of the woods here. And this is going to take us all the way to this little pond here. So we're going to go to the right, because we're looking for this little shallow spot here where the pond meets. So right here we'll be able to cross the little pond, climb up the other side here. And from here we're just going to go right over this ridge and make our way down to the shore. And yes, up ahead here is another bridge. Like I said, I have this bridge built already, so if you need this bridge, it is another 75 spare parts. So we're going to go ahead and make our way across the bridge. Once we get across the bridge, we are going to follow the shoreline to the right. There's a lot of little bumps and stuff here, but it's really not too bad. The mud isn't really an issue on this shoreline unless you're getting all the way into the water, which we're not really doing, so. We're just going to follow this all the way down. Once we get down to this shipwreck, this is where we're going to find our wonderful upgrade. There we go. That is the bigger engine, like I mentioned, Tatra Force A&K Civilian. That's a pretty solid engine there. So, moving on, we're going to go ahead and jump into our Zero 72. And we're going to make our way to the next upgrade, which is a rock crawler kit for the Bandit and the A&K Civilian. So we're going to go ahead and leave the base to the north, and then head left. And we're going to go right around this lake shore here. So we got to go through this brush, because we got to get all the way to the swamp in the north in order to start getting these upgrades. And we're basically just going to use this vehicle for the rest of the video here. And we're just going to sail through the map here and get the remaining 4 upgrades. So go ahead and climb over these rocks. Got a couple of little dips in the ground here, so we're just going to kind of roll it right on over those. And once we get here, we're going to follow this shoreline. And like I said, it looks really muddy here. It's really not. It's really kind of easy to get through here. Kind of got wedged on the rock there, but that's okay. So here's where we're going to go through the water and climb up here, and we're going to make our way down the left side of the river here, and a little bit further down is going to be a shallow crossing that we'll be able to use to get over to the other side. Man, I'm just hitting all kinds of landmines here. So we're going to go up and over this hill, and right here is where we are going to find our crossover point. Just right here. Go ahead and cross over. And from this right side, we're going to go all the way down and make our way through the woods and into the swamp. Trying to just squeeze right through these trees here. It is not cooperating right now. There we go. Alright, so once we get about here, we're going to just head due north through the swamp. Now, it is really, really muddy here. So that's kind of why I chose the Zero. Because one thing I like about the Zero is you pop this thing in low gear, and it is just going to sit here and crawl through the mud like nobody's business. So anytime we get to those heavier mud spots, just put the thing in low gear, it'll just crawl right through. So we're going to head over this way, get a better angle going up here. Alright, from here we're going to go ahead and climb up onto this hill. Go ahead and squeeze through these trees. Once again, just a little bit of low gear in the bog here, and you're just going to sail right through it. Alright, now that we reached the edge of the bog, we're going to make our way over towards... There's a gateway over here. But we're not actually going through the gateway. This is a gateway to the Unshakable Island. So what we're actually going to do is head up to the left here. And I'm actually going to get turned around because this just makes it way easier. And as you can see, our upgrade is down in the gully here. So we're going to, in reverse here, we're just going to back right down. Right here. Grab our upgrade, and that is going to be the Rock Crawler kit for the A&K Civilian and the KRS Bandit. Next up, we're going to go up on top of that hill, and our upgrade will be a whole bunch of mud tires. So, let's go get some mud tires. These are fantastic tires, so we're going to do low gear here. actually going to use the winch to kind of pull us out of here. That's just like a really steep area. Alright, so we are going to head back through the swamp here. So, just like before, we're just going to cross the swamp. Once we get into the swamp, we're going to head to the left, because we got to get over to the other side of the swamp. Because we're going to climb this big hill up ahead here. Now, you may remember this hill climb from when we did the 2.5 hours contract. What a fun hill climb this is, let me tell you. Alright, so we're going to start off, we're going to go up this left side here. And we're going to stay on this left side here, and I'm just going to keep this thing in low plus as we climb up. We're just kind of making our way up here. Let's get up here. We're going to stay over to the left, the right side here. Go to the left side of the rock. That's going to get us all the way to the top here. Alright, once we make it to the top, we're going to go right around this big little hill here. And our upgrade is going to be all the way in the back here. And there you go. That is going to unlock some mud tires. Now, it just says THMS tires, but you'll see the Tatra Force is listed here twice. So the THMS tires are unlocked for the A&K Civilian, and the 2 Tatra Forces are for the MHS 2 and 3 tires. So the bigger mud tires for the Tatra, and the single mud tires for the A&K Civilian. Those are fantastic mud tires. You put those on, no mud will stop you. They're great tires. So, moving on, we're going to make our way down the hill and head to our next upgrade, which is going to be a high-range gearbox for the Tatra Force and the A&K Civilian. So, same as before, we're just going to roll down the hill here. Nothing too fancy. It really doesn't matter which side you're going down the hill. You just want to, you know, be careful because you don't want to, like, flip over and stuff as you're making your way down the hill. This other side here is what I like to call the fun side. So I just felt like showing you guys the fun side. Definitely not recommended to go up on that side, but you can go down and it's pretty fun. Get myself off of this log here. Alright, so next up we're going to go back all the way through the swamp. We're going to head to the other side of the swamp here. Because we need to make our way up onto the mountain ridges to the west. I guess technically that's east. It's to the east, not the west. So we're just going to sail through the bog here. Like I said, anytime you catch little mud pits like this, just put this thing in low or low plus. And you're just going to cruise right on through here. We are almost out of the mud bog here. Alright, so now that we're out of the mud bog, we're going to go ahead and go across the river. So we're going to use these shallow crossings here to make our way across. And when we get over here, we're going to go around these rocks. Make our way up here. Just going to navigate through the rocks. And from here, it's pretty much a straight shot all the way over to the ridge. But we're going to continue to just kind of zigzag through the rocks here. Alright, once we make it to the other side of the river, we're going to make our way up the ridge. Alright, once we get up to this first part of the ridge, we're going to head to the right. And we're going to follow this ridge line all the way down to the end, where we will find our high-range gearbox. Alright, this is where it gets tricky. So we're going to go right in between these two trees here. Because what we wanted to do was get up onto this rock. And that's going to get us to this little cluster of trees here, where we're going to find our high-range gearbox. And like I mentioned, that is for the Tatra Force and the A&K Civilian. So with the high-range gearbox in tow, it is time to head to our final upgrade, which is a set, or a couple sets I should say, of heavy off-road tires. So let's go ahead and go grab those. So we got to go ahead and make our way back down the ridge line so that we can get up the mountain to make our way over to our final upgrade. Kind of quiet. Sometimes that happens to me. I don't know if that happens to you guys, where the trucks will just like randomly grip and just like hook in another direction. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and make our way up this mountain ridge here. And we're going to be going through a rock clearing here. I've already cleared this, but just like the bridges, 75 spare parts to go ahead and get through the rock clearing there. Alright, once we made it across the mountain ridge, we're going to head east here. Make our way through this little pond. And from here, we're going to head through this little forest clearing. Now, there are a bunch of rocks here, so we're going to kind of zigzag through those. And we're just kind of following this flat ridge here. Get up and over this rock. And we're going to follow this up the mountain a little bit here. Try to go around the big rocks here. Why? Why? Like bouncing off the shrubberies or something. I don't know. I get sometimes like I don't have that issue, and then other times it's just like constant. It's kind of random sometimes. It kind of makes it fun, but it's like when I'm doing stuff like this, it's like, okay, stop bouncing. Just plow through the shrubs. Please just plow through the shrubs. It's okay. Alright, so we're going to basically head our way down here. Just nice and over these rocks here. And we're going to make our way. There's a nice little stream up ahead. You can see it. So we're going to make our way over to the stream. Now this is a water stream. This is not a live stream. I do some live streams sometimes. So be sure to tune in and catch those. So we're going to just go through these trees here. And we're going to go, we got some rocks here. So we're going to go just right over these rocks here. Now, the truck may bottom out on these rocks. It may not. If it does, there's a tree right there. You can just kind of witch onto the tree. And that's going to put us in a little bit of a mud pit here. So we're just going to pop this thing in low plus. And make our way right on over to the final upgrade. And like I mentioned, this is some off-road tires. So it says UOD3s. The UOD3s are going to be used for the Actaeon and the Warthog. But this also unlocks OHD 1, 2, and 3 tires for the Tatra Force. If you play a lot of SnowRunner, you know those OHDs are dual off-road rear tires. They are fantastic tires. So enjoy these tires. They're great. And I hope you guys enjoyed the guide. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.